Ghetto.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Ghetto vlog, and let me tell you, it's already been a stacked, busy week. Mrs. RG is very much in the nesting phase, and yeah, I've basically spent this week getting ready for mini Ghetto's arrival, so glossing skirting boards throughout the house, cleaning, tidying, building furniture. I think I've built 5 sets of IKEA furniture, taking all that cardboard to the tip. It goes on and on and on. But yeah, very much getting ready for the arrival of the baby, because, you know, a newborn baby is going to judge you on your yellow skirting board, right? Hey, listen, you do whatever it takes to keep a pregnant woman happy, let me tell you. So yeah, nesting has been almost completed, which means we can now turn our attention to the 3.0. Until last night, I'd not even stepped foot in this room again, but I did manage to get a night to chill out. I managed to finish Modern Warfare 2, so that's game 14 of the year. Fantastic, absolutely loved it, really enjoyed the campaign. I was kind of itching to play a campaign on a Call of Duty game. It'd been some time, and what I like about them is they don't outstay the welcome. There's a lot of variety, there's a good twist in the story. Thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. I'm no expert when it comes to first-person shooters. If I go online, I get absolutely destroyed, but you don't need to be in order to enjoy these sort of like playthroughs. And yeah, great time, and I'll definitely play another one down the line. I've done a bit more into Tiny Thor. I'm on like level 21. I'm going to be honest, as good as the game is, it's got to that point where it's almost too much of a grind. It's so difficult that every section of every level is very, very difficult, and it takes tens and tens and tens of goes, and the progress is so slow. And I think they had the perfect sort of balance between difficulty and enjoyment earlier on in the game. As it's got further on, I don't think the controls are quite precise enough. There's been a recent update, so I don't know if that's going to help, but with things like wall jumps, I find myself just bashing buttons, hoping for the best rather than expecting it to work. And when you have to be as precise as you do in that game, it's literally millimeter precision, like one jump after another to complete a section. It just becomes very frustrating. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it has affected my enjoyment of what was otherwise a fantastic game, but now I've got so far into it, like level 22 of 30, I feel obliged to finish it, so we're going to keep going with that. But I'm really excited to be starting a new game. I'm going to start a Super Nintendo game, so yeah, I'm going to be picking a game real soon to play. Last night I had my friend round, Big Steph. We watched, of all things, because we always watch movies when we get together, and we went through all the usual streaming services, flicking through for an hour, and we settled on Street Fighter on VHS. You know what? There's parts of it that are terrible. Some of the scenes that they omitted from the film, some of it didn't make sense. It was quite a strange director's cut, but generally speaking, not as bad as people say, right? It was enjoyable for what it was. I enjoyed an evening with my friend. And we've had one charity shop find. I went into the charity shop yesterday, and there was a few games, and the one that was worth picking up was Street Fighter X Tekken. This has got a £6 trade-in, it cost me £1.50, so we'll be picking up games like that all day long. Let me just think, is there anything else I need to discuss? As promised, right? I said to you guys on a recent video, if you give me 500 likes, I'll put the CEX tattoo on my neck. We smashed 500 likes, so yeah, as long as that lasts, that's going to be on my neck for this vlog. So yeah, loads to come on this vlog. Obviously, we're going to be cracking on first and foremost with the Sega Wall. This is the state of play. I need to get an additional shelf measured and cut here to take that to the wall, and then we're going to work out exactly how many rows, i.e. how many Sega games we can get on this wall. So there's going to be a lot being done there. There's also a couple of other changes I need to do in this newly added section here. Loads of stuff planned, as well as a massive game hunt. So yeah, it's going to be a stacked vlog, loads to crack on with. Let's get on with it. Okay, let's kick on with the Sega Wall then. And the first job is to cut one of these shelves. So I need to establish exactly how close I want it to be to the end of the wall. What I'm going to do is allow the boxes themselves to dictate that. As you can see at the moment, they fit perfectly onto 2 full shelves. There's no sort of excess shelf or any games overhanging. So what I'm going to do is measure how much I've got here, see exactly how many games I can fit within that space, and then pretty much cut to where the last game will fit in its entirety. So we'll have no overhang in terms of shelf or games, and that will then sort of dictate where we cut this going forwards. The big thing today is going to be working out what we're going to do with this standee, I think, because we're going to drop this shelf down and we're going to see how many rows we can get in. Ultimately, right now, this Grand Theft Auto standee is stopping us from doing that. I absolutely love this standee. I love that when you walk into the room, this is the view you get. I think it goes perfectly with the record player, the record collection and everything else. So that's something we're going to have to look at. But for now, we're going to get cracking on, get this shelf put in, get 2 rows put on, and then we'll sort the rest out from there. Okay, so as it stands, I can fit 7 more Mega Drive games in. That there is pretty much exactly where we need to cut. That would take a total of 25 per row, which is a nice sort of round number. 25, 50, 75, and then I spoke about future plans to go down here, which we'll get to later. Now, the issue I've got, doing it this way would take the games right to the wall. Touching that wall, right? I don't know if it'll look the cleanest. Part of me thinks there should be a gap. Like a small gap. I think that'll look better in terms of the aesthetics of the room. If I wasn't putting anything on these shelves and I was just putting shelves up, I would leave a gap. I just think it would look better. It looks more deliberate. So, something I've got to think about, and then I'm going to get cutting and drilling. Okay, so using this little saw was probably not the best idea. It took me longer than I would like to admit in terms of getting a good finish. But we've now got a full row. I decided to leave a slight gap. The reason being is just in case the wall isn't like exactly 90 degrees, right? But really happy with that. So as you walk into the room, bang. So what we're gonna have is, like I said, I'd like to do at least 3 rows, but it could even be more. Depends what I do with these standees. Might end up doing the full wall. But that gives us now a nice indication of the size, the length of the wall at least. Sadly, I didn't quite have enough blue spines. However, we are going on a game hunt this week, and I may have a CEX Lottery in the post, which could help with that. But yeah, really happy with how that's looking. I think what I'm going to do now is take a slight break from the Sega Wall and deviate to this job that's been annoying me for the past week or so. First job is quite a big one. When I first put this unit in here, I kind of did it in the middle of the gap of the wall that we've created from the 360 kiosk. However, what I'm going to do is move all 3 units along so that it goes flushed with the end of this wall. Reason being is it's more important to have the space here. It's a little bit tight when playing the kiosk, and obviously it's a little difficult to get to these games. So I might as well utilise the space where I need it. So I'm going to move everything across that, 3 inches or so to the end of that wall, just giving me more space. And then we're going to tackle, if I don't break everything, the job here. So what I've been thinking, last week's vlog, you'll remember I put that drawer in there, but really I want it here, if not both. So what I'm going to do is take VHS out, move PlayStation 2 upwards, so this one will sit there and then so on and so on, which will then free up more of a gap down here and allow us to put the drawer in. Because ideally I want the drawer out the way. The problem I have with the drawer there is I can't have Ryu facing this way because his shoulder hangs inside the unit, and there's nowhere else really for the Ryu bus to go right now. So I want to move that drawer to here, which involves moving everything up, getting rid of VHS, that can go somewhere else. But yeah, we're going to crack on with this, get the whole unit moved. But like everything at the moment, the work comes in moving everything to be able to do the job. So I'm going to crack on, get this area clear. So with that first unit moved and now running flush with the wall, you can really see just how much I've moved it by. So that's quite a sizable gap when you think about how much more space I'm going to get to be able to stand here and play the kiosk. So now it's a case of just moving this one, getting this mapped over, and then we can sort all of this stuff out. Happy with that. Everything's been moved, and it's amazing how much difference it's made in terms of like the space and even just the general feel of the room, having more space this side. It's not something that will convey on camera, but yeah, for what is effectively just 3 inches, it's made a big difference. Giggity. Okay, so everything's been moved up. I'm going to take this shelf out. And now that means we can move that drawer from down there to here. Okay, finally, this drawer is where I initially wanted it. Nice and out of the way. That can now be the man drawer. That'll get filled with rubbish. We've got a half decent sized shelf here for stuff, and there's this bit at the top where the cassettes might go back. As you can see, I've just shoved VHS down there. Ryu's gone to his rightful home where he belongs. The only thing left to do here is potentially attach this Tekken standee. This will be killing a lot of birds with one stone, because I've been wanting this on display ever since I got it. Shout out to my Polish pal for this one. Also, the fact it's PlayStation 2, it's just absolutely perfect. So I'm probably going to affix that to this drawer, and it would be a nice way of being able to display this fantastic standee. Okay, that's done. Say, delighted to finally be making use of this awesome Tekken 5 piece. That's it then. Back to the Wall of Blue. Sega! One shelf done. 2 shelves done. 3 shelves. Okay, so that is the 2 rows on the Sega Wall done. I almost forgot I had that on my neck then, until I just saw it on camera. It's a questionable life choice. Yeah, both rows are done. Just completely random games and no order whatsoever, but just to give me an idea of how it's going to look, and I think it looks fantastic. So that's what you're going to see when you walk in the room. Yeah, I think it's going to be brilliant in terms of, you know, having what are my era of consoles on the wall, right? The Super Nintendo wall, the Mega Drive wall, and I think it's going to look fantastic. What we now need to do is figure things out. So I only bought 6 shelves on last week's trip to IKEA, because I've used them all, because like I said, there's a lot of things I've now got to think about in terms of what we do. So let's take a closer look. Okay, so the problems now that we're facing is, firstly, this Grand Theft Auto standee. If I was to put another row in, which I would like to do, ideally at least another 2 or 3, it would come down to here. See that slight pencil mark? That is where it would go. So it's quite a large proportion of the standee that would have to be covered, or indeed that subsequent height drop down. The issue is, I really like how this is in line with the others. They come as a trio. I'm really proud and happy to own all 3 of these standees. I had to track all of them down individually. They're one of the prize possessions in my collection. I don't really want to have to do that. So the other option is to move it somewhere else, but where? Who knows? We saw the hassle it was to get Undead Nightmare in here. The other option is to sort of build a wall around it, so to leave it as it is and cut various shelves and just leave this as an open piece. But I don't think it'll look great, certainly from certain angles, and it'd be very time consuming to get a perfect finish on the inside of all the cut angles of the shelves. So that's definitely something I've got to think about in how I'm going to go forwards. I mean, I've used all the shelves I purchased from IKEA now. As I say, I only purchased 6 because I knew that I was going to run into these problems. The other thing that I've got to think about is where are all the games going to go. Now, these are not all going to fit on the Sega wall itself. Similar with the Super Nintendo wall, I've got this row here where it's just the spines on display. I need something similar on this wall. So does that mean putting a shelf underneath that ultimately just has the spines on display? I think that would be the best way to do it, because I don't really want to have X amount of Sega games here and then have to, like, you know, go down here to a certain shelf as the rest. I want to sort of keep them all together. So yeah, there's lots to think about in terms of how we progress with the Sega wall. I'm delighted with where we're at, but as I say, a lot of questions still loom. But whilst I'm thinking about all that, there are some more changes I need to make down here. The first one is this: I'm not entirely happy with these PlayStation 1 games, so the next job is to look at moving these. Okay, so the plan that I had hasn't worked. That's why everything's only as good as it can be in theory when it comes to moving a game room around, because you can never know fully until you do it. My plan was to move PlayStation 1 back to where Game Boy currently is. So PlayStation 1 will be sitting above PS3 again, and then put Game Boy here. I was going to drop the Mario All-Stars console down to the bottom, and then have 3 rows of Game Boy games. The problem is, when you walk in the room, because the angle they're at, you can't really see them. You know, it's even more extreme when you go down to the door. But I'm an old man and I'm sat down and I'm in no rush to get back up just yet. But it doesn't work because you can't sort of angle them the other way, because you need the Game Boy on display. That's one of the things I really enjoy about displaying Game Boy games. If you sort of angled them the other way, you'd be covering up the Game Boy, and that's really not what I want. So that's not going to work. But like I say, for me, it's not an issue with Game Boy. I'm really happy with Game Boy where they are. I think they look great. It's the PlayStation 1 that's not really working, especially these games here that are resting on top of the Collector's Edition 360 stuff. So yeah, for me now it's just back to the drawing board, get my thinking cap back on, and try and find a different solution for PlayStation 1. Whilst I'm still trying to find a solution for that, I've decided to pop this record here. So this was gifted to me last week by Andy. He sent me some really nice bits. I just love the fact that it's got Naz written on it. Naz is the GOAT for me, so I think I'm probably going to leave that in there. I think that looks really cool displayed like that. And shout out to Andy, I missed these. He messaged me after he watched last week's vlog and he said, oh, did you not see the key rings in the back of the box? Look how cool these are. Awesome, man. Thanks again, Andy. These are definitely going to be going on my keys. One on the 3.0 key, one on my front door key. Love these. Okay, so I've figured it out. What I've done is basically just introduce another shelf and just got PlayStation 1 nice and uniform sitting in here. What I've had to do is put Big Box 360 along here, which I'm more than happy with. And I've just chucked in this PS2 copy of the Casket Godfather just to fill in that shelf. What this does allow me to do as well is potentially purchase more Big Box 360 games if I find ones that I like, rather than worrying about the space. I do have the space to grow there. There's also still a fair bit of space in and around these shelves as well. So yeah, really happy with that. It's obviously giving me another shelf with which, you know, any clear space is a bonus, right? So yeah, that's sort of alleviated the problem I had with sitting those games on the 360 games. And yeah, just another thing that was annoying me has been resolved. Okay, so as part of getting straight in here, I've decided to pack away the Lego castle. I'm going to choose my words carefully now. This will be going to LITTLEMAN for XMAS. He watches these vlogs. So yeah, this is going to get stored away until then. Yeah, I really need to have a big tidy up now. Get this place looking straight, because tomorrow I'm going on this massive game hunt. Really excited about it. But we're going to be welcoming a guest. I'm not going hunting alone, and he's going to be visiting the 3.0 in the morning before we head out. So yeah, I want to get the room looking at its best, and there's a lot of work to do. Okay, so the room is looking as clean and tidy as it can right now. Put most things away, things are lurking around corners, just throws things on the shelves, but ultimately it's as good as it can be ahead of tomorrow. And the reason that I've been cleaning it up, as I say, I've got a visitor tomorrow, and that is Kev. So yeah, game room royalty, right? You guys have seen his video game room. I toured it a few weeks back. So yeah, Kev's coming to come and check out my room, and then we're going to go on a game hunt. We're going, of course, to the West Midlands. I don't know if there's anywhere better in the country to hunt for video games, to be honest. So yeah, I've got a couple of pre-arranged deals, but I always love going to those shops up there. So yeah, loads coming on the vlog. Kev's also bringing me some stuff to help with my room. So yeah, really looking forward to it. What I'm going to do now is sit down. I've got my cup of tea. I'm going to watch this Nintendo Direct and yeah, just chill. Okay, so just finished watching the Nintendo Direct, and firstly I want to say I thought it was really good. I think it's the best Nintendo Direct in quite some time. Overall, there's quite a few things that I'm interested in. Prince of Persia, that looks fantastic. That looks like it's going to be a real top-tier Metroidvania game. That's coming out in January, so that's going to be a must-buy for me as soon as that drops physically. Horizon Chase 2, really enjoyed Horizon Chase. I think the makers of it signed some weird deal with Apple, so it was only released on like iPhones for like a year or something like that. It was like an exclusive to them, so that must be finally coming to a close, and now that's going to start launching on other systems. So that's something I'll look into. I suppose the big one is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. That was like the cliffhanger one right at the end, but I'm not a turn-based guy. I've got it on the GameCube. I played it a bit, didn't really get into it. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm now thinking to myself, is it now finally time to sell it on the GameCube? It's such a valuable game that isn't really for me, that maybe it's time to move that one on, because I could see the price plummeting now with that being released on the Nintendo Switch. But you never really know. You don't know what's going to happen in terms of pricing. And the one that really sort of blew me away, I literally spat my tea out. I was like, no way. I heard the F-Zero music. I got so excited. I got hyped. And it was just like one of them sort of battle royales. It looks good, but I was thinking we were going to get either a remaster or a new F-Zero. And we kind of are. It's like an online-only battle royale thing. And I think the good news is they've not forgotten about F-Zero. Maybe this is like a way, because Nintendo do this quite a lot, where they'll put out a little sprinkling of a game, maybe test the waters, and then like down the line they'll announce a new one. So it's good to know it's an IP they haven't forgotten about. Maybe they'll see how well it does or how much interest there is, because I would love a return to F-Zero. What a fantastic game. And even just hearing that music, right, it just, yeah, got me on the edge of my seat. But all in all, yeah, a really enjoyable Nintendo Direct. There was quite a few things that, as I say, sort of piqued my interest. Contra was another one, the remastering Contra. I didn't really grow up playing Nintendo. I played when I was younger, but I certainly wasn't old enough to play games like Contra, and I don't collect NES, so you know, an original Contra being remastered is one that I would potentially sort of could act as a gateway for me to play that game. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered, that would be interesting. I want to see how they play. I'll look at some reviews, because they were really good games, but the graphics, yeah, it definitely needs updating, so it'd be interesting to see what they do with that. And yeah, but just generally speaking, a decent Direct, and yeah, I'm going to sit back now and play some video games. I'll check you all in the morning.
Retro Ghetto.
Morning! It is the next day. My special guest has arrived. Kev?
I've got to do it because everyone else has been taking a mickey at me. Hello.
That's my thing, apparently.
Yeah, is that what you do? Yeah, so Kev's here, Mr. Game Room Extraordinaire, so he's been critiquing my game room. First thoughts, Kev?
I've been praising it.
Yeah, yeah, to be fair.
It's the second best game room I've seen.
How does it differ to what you see on the vlogs?
The height of the room, you don't get a sense of that from your vlogs.
Yeah.
And that's the height is impressive. That makes a big difference to the room.
Yeah, I often get a lot of people say to me in the comment section and stuff, put like my standees and artwork on the ceiling, and I get it because it's a big open space, but that's what keeps the room feeling like quite clean, open. That's why I don't touch the sort of slanted roofs. I just like to keep it as fresh and open as I can. But yeah, man, we're getting there.
It's so much better than the vlogs do it justice.
I'll give him his 20 quid.
I think everybody needs to come and have a look at Gavin's game room.
Cool. Okay, Kev being Kev has been bringing gifts. So we've got all sorts of stuff here. We need to quickly get through this because we're going to be late for our game hunt. So yeah, I'm going to open some of these goodies now. Let's see what we've got. Okay, gift number 1 is a pink shelf. That's just a protective piece. This is... Oh, standing on stuff. For this annoying gap I've got here. Oh, don't tell me my measurements are off. Might be your cuttings off, Kev.
I don't think it is.
No, it fits perfectly. I'm just trying to do it with one hand.
If it is, you can moan at Fozzie.
That's perfect. So like I said, I've had a problem with the top of this, filling this gap. So I decided to get like a shelf built which goes exactly to my Darksiders collection. And then I'm going to put like a 3D printed Xbox 360 sign or something up here. So I think, yeah, that'll definitely look a lot better, that will. Right, next gift. Okay, gift number 2 is this fantastic Mega Drive sign. This is based on the dimensions of the Super Nintendo sign, so to sort of mirror this side of the room to this side. However, I'm going to skip over this because I know there's something better waiting here. Okay, so here is very much the main event. This is the second of the signs, as you can see. It's sort of like protruding from it. Looks brilliant in person. I've got to give a shout out to Paul Christian for his work on this. But well, guys,
many people worked on it. But...
it gets better. Watch this. This is a 1 of 1, right?
1 of 2.
1 of 2. Coming to your game room soon.
If I can find room.
How cool is that? That's going to look so good. Pride of place up there as we continue to build the Mega Drive wall. Part of me just wants to play around with this now and get it in situ, but we've got to get on this game hunt. Right, before I forget, Kev, There's your first games of the day. I'm sure your pile will grow as we go hunting, but yeah, there's your...
Shame I have to drive an hour to come and fetch
Yeah. There's your Saturn games, mate. Right, let's go and hunt some games, shall we? Okay, so we're just getting to the first stop for this game hunt, and it's actually somewhere I've never been, Hidden Chest Gaming. I've tried to come here a few times, but it only opens on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, I believe, and I've never made it down on one of these days. The owner, Dana, also runs the game fair. I'll be putting the information up on the screen now. Sadly, I can't attend this weekend, but definitely worth checking out when these events come round, because I've heard very good things. But yeah, never been here before, really excited to go and check it out. Let's go and take a look. So grabbed a nice couple of bits from Dana at Hidden Chest Gaming, and now of course we're making our way to Vintage Gamer. There's always a ridiculous amount of stuff in here, so let's go see what we can find. digging through some crates. Mother 2. Okay, so the next stop is Hales Owen. There's a CEX here, but there's also a fair few charity shops, so it'd be rude not to. Usually it's a few names, because it's looking at style and all that. Oh, so this is, I think, the last stop of the day.
Trying to look at the game, yeah.
Yeah, it's got the manual that I can see.
Yeah.
Look at that cartridge. So yeah, the game hunt's going quite well, I'll be honest. It's not been a bad day for an old game hunting. Okay, I'm back in the 3.0 after what was a long but great day game hunting. I've been at the house many hours, but yeah, what a great day it has been. I've got over some fantastic games, as did Kev. Kev bought a lot of Sega Saturn. I'll ask Kev to send me a video, and if I get it in time, I'll put some overlay on the screen now. And he got some really nice Sega Saturn bits, nice GameCube. You might see multiple copies of the same game in and throughout Kev's haul. That's because if you remember from the room tour, Kev's got an original Xbox kiosk and he's got so many games on display, and they sort of push back like a store display, so you can fit like 25, I think, maybe something like that in each one. And Kev's doing what, to be fair, I would probably do, and he's filling each of those spots. So he's having like 25 for each game to give that real shop feel to the kiosk. So yeah, fantastic day all around. I want to share a couple of the pickups with you. So the first shop that you guys saw was Hidden Chest Gaming, which is Dana's shop. As I said, I think on the footage, I've been trying to get it for quite some time, but he only opens on Fridays and Saturdays, I believe, maybe Sundays as well. I'll post links to his shop in the description below. And he had one thing that really caught my eye, and that was, I've never seen this before, and you guys know how much I love a sleeve cover, right? The Evil Dead Special Movie Edition. So this kind of like sleeve cover here comes with not only the Evil Dead A Fistful of Boomstick, which is like a hack and slash horror game, as you would imagine. From the reviews I've read and from quickly looking on YouTube, a bit of gameplay, it looks really interesting. The graphics look like they hold up quite well. You guys will be seeing it on the screen now. But not only that, it also comes with this copy of Evil Dead 2 on DVD. So just a very unique piece. I've never seen this before. Never seen it, didn't know it existed. And it seemingly is very uncommon. So if you guys have any information on this, make sure you let me know in the comment section if you know what the origin was or where this was sold, because after having a quick look on eBay, there's one for sale on the original Xbox for £30. There's a PlayStation 2 one that had been sold for £50 or best offer, but that is all I could find. There was no others available, no PS2 ones listed for sale right now. Dana did me a fantastic price on this. He did me this for £15. CEX sold the game alone for 15, the DVD for 2, so I mean you can't really go wrong with having it with this nice bundle. But I love buying big box and slip covers, as you guys know, especially for PlayStation 2, because there's not that many out there, so the more sort of PlayStation 2 cardboard I can get my hands on, the better. So massive shout out to Dana for this one. And also, he has got a lot of Lego, as you guys have seen. Now I keep talking about this army I'm supposed to be building. It's very slow, this army. It's like Command and Conquer. Remember that in them days when you run out of the green stuff that it takes to build your troops? That's what it's like for me. It's so slow getting these army together because of the price. I underestimate how expensive these Lego minifigures would be. But in the Lego cabinets that Dana had, there was one that was suitable for my army. Sadly no weapon, but he does have his helmet, and that is this gladiator. I've got a couple of these now, so he's going to be joining the army, which is hopefully going to grow. I'll say that with bated breath. So massive shout out to Dana for that as well. He did me a great price on both of these. And Dana has been organising the West Country Game Fair. He's, the Black Country Game Fair, my apologies. He's got the second one this Sunday, so the day the vlog goes live. Sadly, I can't make it due to family commitments. I'm definitely hoping to get to the next one, but I will put all the links in the description for that as well. Make sure you go and support Dana and go and support the Black Country Games Fair. Things like that, it's important that we support and show love where we can to ensure that we get good game fairs and video game stores and everything like that going forward. So yeah, all information will be in the description below. As I say, I'm just happy to get there because it's been a shop that I've been trying to get to, and nice to finally go in and have a look. And I was actually surprised by how big it was. I walked in, and then there's like a room, a non-room. It's like what would you call it? Like an Aladdin's cave. It sort of like grows as you look through. So yeah, some really nice stuff in there. It's a nice VHS as well. And then from there, as you guys saw, I went to Vintage Gamer, and I only had one solitary pickup from Vintage Gamer. Sadly, Nick wasn't there. All the best to Nick. But what I did pick up was another PlayStation 2 game actually, which I wasn't even aware of until I saw the box art, and I thought, is that shmup? Because I thought I was kind of aware of all the shmups that were on PlayStation 2. I thought at this point I either own them or they're really expensive, like some of the Raiden games. But no, it is a shmup. I wasn't aware of it, and that is Sylphid: The Lost Planet. So this was a treasure shmup released in the year 2000. As you've seen on the screen now, very much treasure visuals, right? Just, you know, very iconic in terms of what they do. This is set 31 years after the original, which was released on the Sega CD. You play through 12 stages, unlocking weapons and basically killing as many aliens as possible throughout your 12-stage run. This got a half-decent reception when it came out. IGN actually gave this an 8.3 out of 10. And it's no surprise that this is somewhat uncommon at CEX. There's only 8 copies of this in stock in the country, and it's very recently gone down from £15 to £10. So if you're going to pick this game up, it's probably a good time to do so. Yeah, Sylphid: The Lost Planet. Always happy to add shmups to my collection, especially ones I've never heard of. So yeah, looking forward to checking this one out. That is as much as I'm going to show from the pickups, because we went to another shop, and I don't think I've ever bought so many retro video games in one place at one time, at one go. Unbelievable. I did so well with so many great games. I've got so much to say about each of those games that I'd be doing them either a disservice to show it on the vlog, or this vlog would be about 2 hours long. So that's going to be the Wednesday episode. You're going to see the whole game hunt within this specific store. All the fantastic titles that I picked up, most of which are 16-bit, right, for one wall or another, let's put it that way, but some fantastic games. Make sure you're checking out Wednesday's video, because yeah, I just can't wait to talk about some of these games, because some of them I've been after for a long long time. But yeah, last thing for me to say is a massive shout out not only to Dana, not only to Nick, but also to Kev for driving, and yeah, it's just a great day hunting with a like-minded person. So yeah, a great way to spend a day. And not only that, I feel like this morning, because I was a little bit rushed, I didn't really take the time to fully come to terms with how amazing this Mega Drive light is. Like, I mean, look at it. It's so good. What I'm going to try and do now is probably put this on the Mega Drive wall and get it lit up just so I can get the full effect of it. Yeah, I'm itching to do that. Let's do it. Right, okay, so I've popped the Mega Drive sign on the Mega Drive wall. Now, this is very loosely just placed on for now, just so I can take a look at it. What I might do, looking at the dimensions of it, is maybe put it in the middle of the wall once the wall's fully complete, as opposed to being at the top. We'll figure it out in terms of angle. Also, with it being light up and plug in, that's something that we'll also address. That's going to be relatively easy to hide. It's a really long wire that could just run behind those games, potentially even put a really thin piece of trunking or something down the side there. So that won't be a problem whatsoever. But I think what we need to do now is turn off the lights and then yeah, get the full effect of this light. Let's see how this looks now when I flick this switch. It's not coming through on camera as good as it is in real life, but let me tell you, this is awesome. What a light that is. Like I say, it's not really coming through. Maybe it's because of the light. Let me turn this on. It is so cool. It gives off a lot of light. Like I say, it's not coming through on camera. It never does with light. It's the same with my Xbox light down there. But this looks, yeah, the dog's bee. I would expect nothing less from Kev and his team, but I very nearly bought a Mega Drive Lite from Game. They sold some for a while. I'm so glad I didn't now because, yeah, they sort of pale into insignificance compared to this. But I'm going to have so much fun placing this when the time comes. Like I said, I might put it in the middle of the wall. I'll figure all that out once I've built the wall in its entirety, but gotta give a shout out to Kev on this. This is, yeah, love it. Okay, it is the next day and it's CEX Lottery time. I think this game is probably the biggest retro video game bargain at CEX right now. I forgot to check how many copies of this game were in stock, but there was certainly more than one I purchased, so I'll put it on screen now as to how many there is. I'm not going to say much more. I'm just going to open it and get into it, and then I'll sort of discuss it from there. And yeah, I'll explain my reasons as to why I think this is such a bargain. So this arrived today. It looks to me like the invoice was an afterthought, right? Because if you look at that, it's like they forgot to put it in and then they've just shoved it in there, but it has made it. This game is just £30, so £33 delivered, but if you was buying in person, it'd be £30, right? So yeah. Let's get into this one, shall we? Okay, so the game in question is, oh sorry, it's £32. Apologies, so it'll be £35 delivered. That is, for the Mega Drive, Blue Spine, the Classic Collection. So as the name would dictate, this is a collection of Mega Drive games. There's 4 games in total on here, and they include Gunstar Heroes, Altered Beast, Flicky, and Alex Kidd. Now a couple of absolute classics on there, right? Altered Beast, Alex Kidd, I already own those. But the notable one on here would be Gunstar Heroes. Gunstar Heroes, to purchase individually, would currently run you £100 at CEX. It's become a very sought after game. And yeah, that ultimately is why I think this is such high value. Gunstar Heroes is a very good game. I think I have it on one of the PlayStation 2 collections. But when you put all 4 of these games together, even irrespective of postage charges, £152 is what it would cost you to buy those 4 games. Now, as I aforementioned, some of these are on the various other Sega collections that are on, you know, pretty much every platform ever since the Mega Drive. However, if like me, you're a purist, you like to play it on the original console with the original controller sat in front of the CRT TV, then you will know why this is such high value. Like I say, 32 instead of 152, £120 you've effectively saved by purchasing this, and you get this box in all of its blue spine glory. So what we're going to do now is just have a look at a montage on screen of the different games. I don't know much about Flicky. As I say, Altered Beast, an absolute classic. Played a lot of that one as a kid. Alex Kidd, again, you know, I think most people know about that, but as I've already said, Gunstar Heroes really is where this sort of shines. It's like a platformer, but more of a running gun. A very good game. As I say, I have played this a little bit on the PlayStation 2, I believe. If you're a bit of a sadist like myself, you know, ultimately I'd like both versions. I would like to have the original Gunstar Heroes simply because of that beautiful artwork and everything, but this will certainly do until that point. But let's get it open, shall we? It doesn't, no, I was going to say it doesn't feel like there's a manual. No manual. I think this should come with like a black and white manual. Sometimes when you get these collections, I think inclusive of the Mega Drive collections, like the Mega Games 1, 2, 3, they just kind of have all the individual manuals thrown in, and they're really heavy, and sometimes you can't even close the box properly. But this one, I believe, just comes with its own sort of black and white manual, which is inclusive of all the 4 games on here. So this doesn't have a manual, so that's something I'll have to evaluate as to potentially whether it's worth me taking this back. I'm going to see how many copies are in stock and equally what it's selling for on eBay, that kind of thing. But the cartridge itself is in really nice condition, very clean cartridge. And yeah, definitely looking forward to playing Gunstar Heroes on the Mega Drive. And yeah, I just think this has got to be the best value retro game currently available at CEX, right? I mean, you're effectively saving £130 by purchasing this, or £120, sorry. And yeah, I just think it's one that I don't hear spoken about enough, especially when you see the price, which is continually rising, of Gunstar Heroes. I'm surprised that this classic collection hasn't risen more in price alongside it. But yeah, you'll be seeing on screen again how many copies of this are in stock. Yeah, very, very happy to be adding this to my collection. I'll let you guys know on next week's vlog what I've decided to do with this copy in terms of not having the manual, etc. But I think ending on a blue spine Mega Drive is a great way to end what has been a quite Mega Drive intensive vlog, right? And I think this vlog really sort of has encompassed what we do here at the Ghetto Vlogs, because we've done a bit of everything, right? We've done game hunting, we've done CEX lotteries, I've completed a video game, I've done lots of like improvements within my room itself. The Sega Wall was well underway, we've moved all these shelves around, and yeah, we've done a little bit of everything. It's been a little fantastic week. For me now, it's a case of sort of establishing exactly what I'm going to do next with the Sega Wall. I'm sure there will be another IKEA trip on next week's vlog, because we're going to need some more shelves. I'm going to spend the next few days really making sure I make the right decision with this wall, what I'm going to do with the standees, etc., and really plan that out. Also, there's another big change coming to this room. There is one more thing that I really am eager to change, and I'll be doing that next week as well. But as I alluded to yesterday off the back of that game hunt, don't miss Wednesday's video. I don't think I've ever bought so many retro video games from one place in one hunt in my life. So very, very excited to share all those games with you guys. But yeah, it's good to be back. As always, thank you very much for watching. Play your games, keep it retro, enjoy your Sunday. I'll see you all on Wednesday in a bit.
Retro Ghetto.
Lock into the retro ghetto.